Apparently, Nintendo is releasing a worlds full of games for Nintendo Switch in 2019, because just when we think we've covered every little detail about unannounced games, upcoming games, surprise games, something else comes to light. And today we've got King Zell, who is the lord of the February Direct, correctly predicting the odd Wednesday date for that one, as well as many other things Switch related. He's coming in and saying that there are many third-party Switch games that have not been announced. He says, you know that this is going to be an amazing year for Switch when Nintendo showed all this on Direct, and we already know there is so much yet to be shown. Also, a lot of third-party games are yet to be announced, some in March, that will make this year even more amazing.
This year's already jam-packed, Zach. I can't believe that we have way more coming, and I trust King Zell implicitly, because how do you pull that February 13th date out of nowhere? It being a Wednesday, it being on the 13th, which is like unlucky for people in Japan. Nintendo's a Japanese company. There's a lot there, and he still got it right. This guy, he like you said, he is the anointed one when it comes to these things.
A true king. So we're going to talk today about what these third-party games could be. Some getting announced as soon as next month. And we're not going to give you the list of the games we dream of on Switch. We love BioShock over here. We're big Dead Space fans. This time, though, we want to give you games that we think really are going to come to Switch this year. Games that have a lot of rumor or fact behind them, and all signs point to a Switch release. Let us know which of these games you want most on Nintendo Switch in 2019, which of these third-party titles you'd be the most pumped for. Gabe, we're going to kick it off with The Witcher 3.
Big game. CD Projekt Red had a job listing where they mentioned Nintendo Switch. People went up in arms. The listing got removed, and then since then it's come back. I think The Witcher is happening on Nintendo Switch in some fashion, because there has been enough smoke around here that there has to be fire. I know that you and I both feel a little bit differently about The Witcher. I think it's a really cool RPG series. I know you're not into it as much, but something this hardcore, it would be amazing on Switch. How does it run? I don't know, because this was just on, Xbox One and PlayStation 4 and PC. I don't know how much of a downgrade there needs to be, and by all means, there's going to be a downgrade. Make no mistake. But I'm curious to see how this one goes.
Personal preference aside, it's a great get for Switch. Putting Wild Hunt on the platform would be awesome. It would bode well for future games of this sort of size and scope. And we've seen from things like Skyrim that they can still sell and perform super well. I want to give you a little more, Gabe. Besides the GOG Galaxy job listings talking about Nintendo Switch, we also have the fact that a French retailer listed The Witcher 3 alongside Assassin's Creed 3 a while back for Switch. Now, initially people were like, okay, this is just them speculating and throwing stuff up there, as sometimes these international retailers do, but now we know that Assassin's Creed 3 and Liberation are coming to the Switch in May, so it adds even more validity to the fact that The Witcher 3 could be coming. Everything kind of lining up, and this would be one that I think would benefit the system and its player base quite well.
That's what I was going to say. We saw Assassin's Creed 3 had similar little teases, or not even teases, just mistakes that led us to believe that it was happening, and now the game's announced. So this kind of feels reminiscent of that. I can't wait. I think this one's going to happen eventually.
Now, I'm going to give you one that I would be playing day one, and that would be Persona 5. Whether it's Persona 5 or Persona 5R, we know that they've got new projects over there at Atlus in 2019. They threw out a teaser trailer that hinted at a March date. King Zell just said a March date. You know what else is coming shortly after March to Nintendo Switch?
Just a little character. Just a character you might have heard about.
Just a jokester.
To a little game that you might have maybe heard. It's an indie darling.
just a silly guy that wants to fight and battle some plumbers and some toads and some lizards. It's a good time. Persona 5 would be a great get. I love the art style of that game, and it's one that it may see a downgrade, but I feel like it would be harder to notice. I think it could do great things on Switch. People adored Persona 4 Golden on Vita. That's like the darling game of the platform. So getting Persona 5R on Switch would be awesome. I would be there day one. It lines up with what King Zell said. It lines up with what Sakurai is cooking for the DLC fighter packs. I feel like this one is imminent.
You made mention of the art style. Yes, it does lend itself way more to a perfect fit for Switch, really. Like, you might not even notice the downgrade there between PS4 just because the art style is a little bit more cartoony and not ultra realistic. And this is another one that I think happens. I think this one is like 100% happening. I think The Witcher's like maybe 90% happening. I do feel stronger about Persona. Joker being in Smash like really makes sense. We saw Sakurai visiting, Atlas and messing around with some Persona like memorabilia. Yeah, I think this one's happening. Sakurai likes teasing things like that, and yeah, he could have just been, doing Joker references, but I fully believe the game's happening.
Yeah, and it makes sense if the focus of these DLC, or at least some of them, will be third-party partnerships. You got to have something to bank on. Then if you're going to put Joker here, why not give players something else that they can purchase that involves the same character? It just all lines up, and I am a busy guy, Gabe. I like to move a lot. I walk quickly, so being able to take this 100-hour adventure on the go, a lot more my style than having to sit locked to my TV screen. So I'm actually very excited for this one. A lot of people, Gabe, are excited for our third title, Spyro Reignited Trilogy. This one has as much smoke as is coming out of Spyro's nose, because it initially was listed on the website for Nintendo Switch. It was then removed from said URL, and people have hinted and rumored at this for a long time. It popped up on GameStop in Germany on their website, a listing for Spyro Reignited. I'm genuinely shocked it wasn't a part of the recent February Direct. But again, this is another one that just feels like it is absolutely a part of the 2019 plans.
Crash Bandicoot sold exceptionally well on Nintendo Switch, so I don't understand why this game isn't on Switch yet. I'm sure it's coming, just like with the other ones. I don't know what is taking it so long. Ever since it first got announced for the other platforms, I remember you and many other people saying, hey, there's no way this thing doesn't come to Switch. They're just saving it for a Direct. Didn't happen. Maybe it still happens at some point. Why are there so many listings for this game if it isn't a thing?
Yeah, all of these have so many little nuances. We've got Crash Team Racing coming to Switch, guaranteed this summer. Maybe they want to have that be the focal point, and then they bang this one out in the fall. I'm not quite sure, but it feels imminent. You're right. Crash Insane Trilogy did so well. It's such a fun port. I'm not as big of a fan of Spyro at all, but I do think this one runs its way onto the system. So those three feel, you can't say they're certainties, but they feel real likely. Let's go to a couple that may not be as likely, but still feel very plausible. We've got Take-Two, a company you may know of some of their efforts, like Civilization 6, which they put on Switch last fall, and they loved how well it did. They said that it really exceeded expectations for what they thought it would sell, and that bodes well. They already are committed to the platform with NBA 2K, WWE, we're not going to talk about, but they do have other properties that would go great on the system, whether you're looking to bring some XCOM action, whether you're looking to bring some Borderlands action, whether you're looking to bring some Bioshock action. It feels like 2K is going to drop something besides basketball on Switch this year.
Not to mention they also have Rockstar, and we have a Rockstar game on Switch, LA Noire, so yeah, I mean, they do like the platform. They've seen success on the platform, so I don't see why they wouldn't do something. Oh, just very quickly, Zach, what do you think it would be? Because my fingers are crossed that it's XCOM. That's what I think it is. What do you think?
I think XCOM makes the most sense. Games like that succeed on the platform. It's perfect for the interface. I have my fingers backwards crossed. That's not Borderlands. I'm just kind of done with that game. I don't want like an old collection of that. The only old collection I would welcome from 2K would be Bioshock. We've had a lot of rumors. I don't know how much validity they have of like, oh, GTA 5. You think there's any chance that another Rockstar game, I guess, a newer Rockstar game, comes to Switch?
There's always a chance. I don't want to just completely dismiss it and say that there's zero chance, but I think we see something else first. I mean, GTA 5, it's a pretty game. It's a big game. There's a big online community behind it. I don't know how well that translates over to Switch. I don't think anyone's going to stop playing it wherever they're playing it now. So, yeah, who knows?
All right, let's go to one that has been a part of our SwitchForce lives since the beginning, Call of Duty. And there have been many rumors from many people, in particular the famed Marcus Sellers, who thought that Call of Duty was assuredly coming to Switch in years past. Well, no new rumors as of yet, but it's one that, I don't know, I still feel like they'd like to get on the platform. We've seen Activision Blizzard do a lot of restructuring. They're bringing back single player this year to, I guess, complement what they did last year with Battle Royale and Blackout. Why not put it on Switch?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Why not? But this is one that it wouldn't surprise me if it doesn't happen at all. It wouldn't surprise me if through the lifetime of the Switch, we never see Call of Duty on there.
Honestly, it wouldn't surprise you?
No, not at all.
Ever?
It doesn't seem like they were doing, and you know, the Switch.
They've talked about they want to spread their games. They need more sales. Like
Switch has a lot of life in it. You know, don't get me wrong, but people play that where they play it. They've been playing it on Xbox with their friends for decades at this point, or you know, PS4, wherever they're playing it. I don't know how easy it's going to be to get people to jump over, and I think Activision knows that. I mean, sure, you probably sell some on Switch. It's just I don't know if it's enough to warrant a port.
I just wonder, with the extreme success of Fortnite on the platform, with the potential Apex Legends eventually making its way to Switch, with things like Paladins and Warframe, you feel like Activision sees that and says, we got to get something over there. We got to get something, one of our big franchises over there and play a part. Look how well Diablo 3 did. Granted, very different genre, totally different developer, obviously, totally different half of the Acti Blizzard partnership, but it did so well, and so I think there is such an audience for hardcore games. Look at the love that Wolfenstein 2 received. Look how hyped people are for Doom Eternal. I don't know. I think they've prepped the waters. Other companies have prepped the waters quite well for Call of Duty to land. But one that might be a better fit game is Psychonauts 2. This is a game that I am so excited for. It's supposed to release sometime in 2019. The first game is a cult classic, so creative, so brilliant, and it would be such a fit with Nintendo. And way back near the beginnings of this game in 2017, Double Fine said, very possibly for Psychonauts 2, I believe we'd like to hit up as many platforms as we can with that one. And they confirmed that there wasn't anything in the works at the time, but it might be possible later on. Well, it's over 2 years later, and the game will be coming out almost 3 years after those comments, so perhaps a Switch version already exists. It just feels like a very serendipitous pairing.
If I'm Double Fine and I see all this indie success that a lot of other companies are seeing, I want to jump in on that too, right? We see company after company say, hey, our game is selling more on Switch than it did on any other platform it was previously available on. So if you're Double Fine, you're probably going to dedicate some time to that. Enough time has passed, like you said. It's almost like, you know, exactly 2 years, over 2 years, I guess, at this point. Since these tweets, I wouldn't be surprised if this happens at all.
Broken Age came to Switch. That is a Double Fine production, and a very nice one. Psychonauts 2 has the art style, the fun, the charm. It has some Nintendo quirks and qualities about it, and hopefully the game, even though it began as a FIG development project, hopefully it can put up a very quality experience, because it's one of my most anticipated for the entire year, and I'd love, 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 love to play it on Switch.
Yeah.
All right, Gabe, we got one more game here that has some rumor mongering behind it and feels likely just based on how often Nintendo works with Square Enix. We saw Mr. Imran Khan, senior editor over at Game Informer, talking about a canceled game. Now we got the whole Scalebound kerfluffle going on, but he also mentioned Kingdom Hearts, and he said that Nintendo and Square Enix talked about Kingdom Hearts 3, and it just wasn't gonna work. Very demanding and not something that they could do without having to pare it down a lot. But he did say that the remasters are probably what they settled on, the recent remasters of the older Kingdom Hearts games, and given how they're releasing all of the Final Fantasy titles, it feels like once that's out the way, and Dragon Quest XI is well on its way to a cartridge, Square Enix, it would just behoove them to put the beloved Sora stories on Switch.
Square Enix does have a huge history with Switch. Octopath Traveler did super well for them, and we've seen Kingdom Hearts on past Nintendo handhelds before, a good number of the very confusing titled ones that I don't know about. But yeah, I mean, this would be cool. I would probably play. I don't have a lot of experience with Kingdom Hearts at all, so if they do bring that collection that has like all the games really and the middle games, there's so many of them, I would maybe give those a try on Switch. I would.
I'll be honest, I will not play them, but I know that there are a lot of people that are very pumped by the prospect to bring those titles on the go, so I think it would be a good get. And in general, you know, when we hear Nintendo and third party, we do go to the past. We go to games that are older. And if you look at this list that we've established for you, The Witcher 3, older. Persona 5, I guess if it's the R version, that would be newer. Spyro, it's newer but older. Take-Two would be most likely older projects. Psychonauts 2 would be new. Call of Duty, in theory, would be new. Kingdom Hearts would be old. I want to throw one more mention out to Catherine. The full body edition is coming in September. It has not been confirmed in any capacity for Switch, but if Atlas does end up putting Persona 5, I don't know why they wouldn't move Catherine. Are there any other games you want to shout out, Gabe, that you think realistically could come this year to Switch?
Okay, we have Bayonetta on the platform. I really like Vanquish. You and I were speaking about the game in a different context just a little while ago. And, stuff like that, if you can sell it for $20 on eShop, I think is really, really good. Plus, the game already existed on 360 and PS3. I don't know how difficult the port would be, so maybe they can get on that. But, Platinum has their hands full overall, I guess. You mentioned BioShock and Dead Space at the top of the video. We both really love those franchises. That's about it.
Pricing will be interesting for a lot of these, and I wonder if they like to specifically target games that still they feel would do well at a $60 value. I think Witcher 3 comes to Switch at $60. I think Persona 5, either in the R capacity or the original, comes to Switch at $60. Spyro, I think that's $60. I don't know, what Psychonauts 2 final price will be, but it's going to be full price on Switch, and you feel like Kingdom Hearts could probably get away with a pretty hefty tag as well. So it's interesting to consider and think. I still would hope for some multi-platform day-and-date releases. We've got Doom Eternal. We've got the Wolfenstein Youngblood action hitting at some point. NBA, as we mentioned, would love to see some of this third-party stuff from King Zell include a game like Madden, or maybe even Rage 2 if Bethesda can really crank those gears. But for now, this is our list. Let us know which of these games you'd want most on Switch this year, and hopefully we hear about some of them in the next month or so. In the meantime, everybody, thanks so much for watching. Make sure that like button if you enjoyed the video. Subscribe to stay up to date on the latest, the greatest, the best, and sometimes the worst from Nintendo Switch. We got you covered in all capacities. For now, though, for myself and Gabe, fantastic day. Thanks again. SwitchForce out.